Hello sim gamers, welcome back to Let's Play Sailwind. Off camera I went ahead and pulled the Sanbuq over to the Dragon Cliff shipyards. Let's come around here and get a good look at it. And we are going to take a look at what is available for ship customizations here at Dragon Cliffs. Even if we can't necessarily take advantage of all of them. So let's go ahead and pull the ship into the shipyard and zoom out and then take a look at the whole beautiful thing that we got going on here. There's our Sanbuq. Nice. As I was experimenting with this a little bit off camera, I noticed the first thing that is that the individual coins for Dragon Cliffs, the Emerald Dragons, are the individual dollar amount doesn't go as far. And that means that I am probably limited to the type of real structural changes I can make. As you can see, just moving the mast from where it was in the front to where it is now is like 5,000 Emerald Dragons. Same thing with getting rid of the mizzen mast. That's pretty expensive. Changing out the bowsprit for a long bowsprit that's more than half of what I have. And adding a top mast, that's the most affordable of the options I have available to me. But that's, nearly 3,000 Emerald Dragons. So the short answer is basically, I'm going to have to work with the masts that I have if I want to customize the ship at all. There are other options available, such as I can add a bigger rudder, which would make this ship more responsive in turns, and that could be worthwhile. But again, that's an 8,000 Emerald Dragon change. And I have about 8,500. And I want to do other supplies and stuff. So, let's take a look at the sail options we have. If I remove the lateens, well, can I add a sail? Like, what happens if I try to add a small gaff in the back? Yeah, sails overlap, so that's not going to work. Let's go ahead and take a look at removing this sail, which we do get partial credit for. We get almost 1,200 Emerald Dragons as a refund. And we can take a look at some gaff options. Now, if I try to mount the 13-yard gaff, it's too big. It cannot be configured to work on this particular ship. And this is my feedback to the dev as they're working on this game. I know this is a very small team doing this, so this isn't game breaking necessarily, but it's just as far as game design goes, it would be better if instead of showing me all the options and allowing me to go through the trouble of clicking on something only to find out later that I can't do that for some reason, gray out the options that I have and maybe let me know why. Like, for instance, we know that this mast is simply too short for the junk gaff on this ship configuration. Right? There's nothing that can be done about that. So let me know. Hey, if you could put this on if you had a taller mast. But what I'm going to take a look at back here is the 7-yard junk gaff. And it looks like there are a couple of spots where that could live, that could totally work. And then we can mount a second sail, so we could add a square, the 17-yard junk square. There's no way. So that probably means the 12-yard is also too big. I can't move it. Correct. How about a 10-yard? 10-yard off. Only I could move it up to higher on the mast, but I can't. So we're down to 8 yards. 8 yards could be moved up into position. So we can get a little small square and gaff set up back there. It's not bad. Again, if I remove this front sail, I get a refund. In fact, that one's worth 2,200 emerald dragons, so that helps a lot. We could... I'm kind of wondering if I... Oh, hang on. Can I do the big junk gaff? No. We can do... So we can do a 7-yard gaff. That's awfully small, though, for the area. What else do we have? We have this 10-yard. That's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad at all. It's kind of tall, but, you know, that's the way it's going to be. We can add 3 sails to the main mast. Okay. Square. Big fat square. Can't do that. Nope. 12 yard? Hey, we can do a 12 yard. I think I want to move it up just a smidge for clearance purposes, so my head can clear underneath as I'm walking around. And then it says we can mount a third sail, but I don't think I'm gonna see what kind of stay sails we have here. A 20-yard jib is going to be a monster, right? Stay sail 16 yards still. It says sails collide and there's no amount of moving it that changes that. All right. That was the 16. How about the 13 yard? 13 yard seems to work. I don't want it to clip into the ship though, so we're going to go ahead and pull it up until it doesn't clip anymore. Start zooming in and taking a look around, really kind of scrutinizing how this is going to function. All right, I could be convinced. This is 2,279 emerald dragons, and that's a possibility. We could do that. But this does not take into account buying any additional supplies, which I don't really need. Maybe I could refill my casks of water that I used up in the trip and I used up in staying the night over. We could, I want to take a look at a chronometer as well before I commit to this, this particular build. That my ship totally breaking noise always makes me nervous. All right, let's go over to the store here and see about chronometers. If you've watched the Navigator's Guide to Sailwind videos that I put up earlier, we could take a look at getting a chronocompass for 20,000 emerald dragons, which is somewhere in the neighborhood of 2.5 times to 3 times what I currently have. So that's realistically out of reach for a while. Oh, these guys have all the maps though. So there's 1,200 emerald dragons I want to spend in filling out the rest of my maps. A spyglass could be useful. A chip log could be useful. This will tell me, let me know how fast I'm going. And here's what we're looking at, the chronometer. So it's 5,500 plus 2,500. That is 8,000 gold, 8,000 emerald dragons, right? And I have, what do I have? 8,600. Just buying the chronometer would allow me, with my current ship, without changing any sails, the opportunity of sailing out to Astron. And the reason that would work is because, let's take a look at this map here. Refer back to the Navigator's Guide to Sailwind. The way we can combine a sun compass with a chronometer to actually measure our longitude. And the way we do that is by just some relatively simple math. Hey, Hey, Sim Editor here. I cover how to combine the sun compass and chronometer in the Navigator's Guide to Sailwind using the sun compass. Link in the description below. Here's what Salt and Pepper had to say about the Navigator's Guide. As I'm currently lost on the way to Happy Bay, this finally clicked in my brain. Thanks. Hopefully, I can find my way before I run out of supplies. I'll bet with the help of the Navigator's Guide and helpful comments like yours, Salt and Pepper did just fine. As this hand gets close to noon, I can take a look at this and compare the difference to the chronometer to see where I am as far as longitude and latitude is concerned. Because the sun compass will give me my latitude, right? Here it says I'm at somewhere in the neighborhood of 31 or 32 degrees. When that needle hits the middle, the sun is directly overhead. If we quickly refer back to this map, if the sun is directly overhead, it's basically directly overhead along this longitude line. And what's going to happen is that means it's further east of Fort Aistrin. This chronometer should read earlier in the morning by some amount of time. It would be maybe 1, 2, 3, 4. There's some math to do. You multiply that by multiply that by 4, it would say, well, even, I guess it's Fort Aistrin. Is the chronometer set to 0 latitude, even though it's not got an island? Anyway, you multiply that difference by 4, and you get a time difference. All right, I'm the other way around. I'm misspeaking. You take the time difference in minutes. It would be like 20 minutes. Divide it by 4, and that is how many latitude or longitudes of a difference it is. So it's still quite early in the morning, right? We could actually totally test this. It's pretty much noon right now, according to that. And what is the chronometer saying? Where'd it go? Yeah, it's before noon. So the sun is moving across the sky. In just a little bit, it'll be basically coming up to now, or very shortly. Now the sun is directly overhead of Aistrin, but over here, the sun has already shifted beyond the middle. And if this had little subticks going along the side here, we could do the measurement that way as well, doing the reverse math. But anyway, that's a whole lot of rambling to say that I think my investment would better be spent buying a chronometer. Congratulations, I now own a chronometer. And we better find a good place to mount this. I don't think I'm going to set sail today. Today is just going to be about customizing the ship and getting things all set up. Wherever we're sailing, we're going to be measuring the sun, and we're going to want ready, easy access, like somewhere around here. Hopefully not getting too much interference from the sails. So do I just mount the chronometer right here on the front of the wheel? It looks like those would face down a bit. What about here on the ledge? I don't know. There wouldn't be bad. Although I'd have to run in and get the reading. This line would appear to be going through that, but you know, it depends on if you really care about clipping, or if one really cares about clipping. Putting it on either post wouldn't be a bad idea either. Actually, I quite like the idea of maybe sticking it right there. Because if I'm at the bridge, I can easily take a look. And let's go ahead and... we're getting a little hungry and thirsty. So let's head to market for some lunch and dinner. Raw fish. Pretty cool. I want the cooked stuff, though. Where's the cooked stuff at? A cooked pork chop. You know, it occurs to me that that there are other pieces of equipment I could buy that would be just as useful as some sail customization. So I think what I'll do is actually get my ship more outfitted for overseas travel and focus on that. So I've already bought the chronometer. I've only got 3,017 gold, emerald dragons left. We could get some more lanterns and backup lanterns and have those available. We're doing fine on fishing hooks. We could grab all the maps. So we've got two. Basically, we'd have a full room full of maps to use, depending on where we wanted to go. We've already got a chronometer. Well, yeah, we'll see about getting a nice spyglass. Let me put these things away first, though. Okay, where do I want my maps to hang out? These are the ones that I'm sort of actively using, I guess, and we can just have... Can we just mount them there? We can. It's hard to see, though, because the map itself is so large. You can mount them here to have them sitting around, ready to be available when we want to navigate with them, right? We have Al Ankh right now. That reminds me, I should swap out my empty barrels of water for full barrels of water while I'm thinking about it. So I want 2 more barrels of water, wherever those are sold at. I'm doing fine on backup food and backup food and hooks. 2,300 gets me a stove to cook with. Water, water, water. Who's selling water? Where is a water seller? This person sells tobacco. I'm wandering around trying to find where the water is being sold. Is it this guy? Yes, okay. Just loading up the water here to get ourselves ready for the next wherever we want to go. We can double check my other supply. I could get fancy and put shelves down and have these waters laying on their side. But one thing I don't have is that many backup lanterns, so I'm going to buy I'm going to put these things on deck. For now. And buy some lanterns and backup lanterns and hooks. 2 of each. What I'm looking for. Put that there. That there. That there. That there. So now I only have 608 lions. Emerald dragons. Money goes quick over here. Where am I going? These are just hook places to carry extra supplies for when my other lanterns actually run out, because they will. My ship is beginning to list. Oh well, I'll worry about that later. I wonder if I can change... Where's the trade window? The trade place. If I can change my my currency and how much... Exchange this for this and see what I get out of the deal. Minus 10 or... That's if I exchange everything, I'll get 211 L-Ankh lions, which isn't even enough to consider buying a stove. Nope, that's 5,000. All right, well, we got some supplies. And we burned through all our money, so there goes any options for ship customization. But I think that we can call that a day, as we are reasonably well equipped for our next mission, which we will talk about and do in the next episode. Until then, I'm Sim Gamer, and this is Sailwind Early Access.